Hello everyone, this is Joanna from Joanna the Medium. These are going to be messages for the month of August. Sorry about being late. As I mentioned last month, I was really busy, then I had to go away for a few days and I just couldn't get a chance to, or didn't get a chance to record videos. Came back to extremely busy schedule already, so they are coming in fact a little bit late. But thank you so much for waiting, and I hope you will like them. Because they were late, I kind of thought maybe I should do something different, or maybe I should make them shorter. And I actually got a very strong feeling from Spirit that I should try something different for the sake of cutting some time. Well, turns out that the readings are actually longer. It's the setup that's slightly different. So what I was asked to do is do more of a channeled message, not using cards, and use fewer cards. And I actually thought it was going to be a shorter reading, but it turns out that in more cases, it's actually longer than the ones I've done in the past. So lots of different energies I'm working with. 3/4, half to 3/4 of the entire reading is me channeling information based on what I'm being told and seeing, which is a little bit different for me in this particular setup because I'm not even using any cards at that point. So some of it is very, very specific. Some of it is more general. Some energies are different than others. Some are stronger. Some are more strange than others. So it is a very different set of readings for August, for sure. As always, it is general. These are general readings, so it may make sense to you. Some of it, certainly for all of you, it won't make sense to you. For some of you, it may. For a majority of you, some parts may make sense to you, some won't. Please check out rising sign, moon sign, as well as your sun sign, as these may offer a more complete picture of what's happening in your life. If you would like a private reading, please contact me with the information below and we can set up a private session so that you can understand exactly what this is pertaining for you. I cannot answer questions through emails pertaining to general readings. Sometimes I'll get a message saying, what does this mean to me? Without actually having a one-on-one session, it is impossible for me to do that. And I cannot answer each and every email because I get literally hundreds of emails, which is why I can't always respond to all of them. So if you would want more information particularly connecting to you or relating to you, you might want to have a private session, and you can just reach me at the information below. If these readings don't make sense to you this time around, that's perfectly okay. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Please do let me know if you like the new format, as I feel it's here to stay, at least until the next change. I think I mentioned in some of my earlier videos that I feel I will need to be doing more channeling. So, I hope you like it. I actually found it a little bit easier, not looking at cards and just giving information that's coming to me. And that's really how I work with one-on-one clients. Trying to see if there's anything else that I want to say, other than I always want you to know how grateful I am for you listening, viewing, liking, sharing. It means a lot to me. I just posted a video on 10,000 subscribers thank you offer. This was my goal for the end of 2016. So the fact that it's already reached 10,000 at the end of July is amazing to me, and that's obviously thanks to you. And I always want to say thank you so much, because without you, there's no need for me to do this. So without further ado, I hope you like the readings. Let me know how it resonates with you, and let's get going. I'll see you in a moment. Hello and welcome back. This is going to be a reading for the sign of Virgo. My voice is starting to go already, so bear with me. I am going to tune in to Spirit and see what we can start with, or what they want me to start with. right away, as I was meditating before when I laid out the card, and the cards are actually face down so I don't see them, I hear the words chest pains and an anxiety. I'm also being shown a female. Just going to rephrase. Okay, this is for those of you who are either females or males with more feminine attributes. Now, when I say feminine attributes, don't misunderstand me. Actually, I'm going to ask him to decipher what that means according to him. If you're a male that is experiencing chest pains or an anxiety, this will predominantly be for those who are quite sensitive. Now, that does not mean that macho males are not sensitive. It doesn't mean that at all. Macho males look macho, but they actually may be quite sensitive inside. So for whatever reason, I was asked to point this out, and this is not a judgment, and this is not a qualification. It is apparently you are dealing with chest pains due to an anxiety and or anxiousness. So if you are worried and about your health and you're having chest pains on left side, predominantly around this area, or if you're having panic attacks or an anxiety and you're afraid that this is to do with your heart, please check it out. I do not feel that's what it is, but I feel you worry about it, and perhaps you're not doing anything about it, or you are deflecting, looking at it because you're afraid. So go check it out. I am not predicting heart attacks at all, but you're worried because apparently there are heart-related issues or problems or conditions in your family, specifically with your dad's side of the family. So if you are experiencing chest pains, do yourself a favor, go see a doctor so the doctor can say, listen, it's an anxiety, maybe go on the medication to help you feel better, but stop driving yourself nuts. That's what being said, okay? And please do this. You will either do this in the next 3 weeks, or you're being asked to do this fairly soon, within the next 3 days or 3 weeks. And I'm asking him why there is significance to it. And he's saying purely for the sake of not having them worry all the time, because that's actually adding to your existing anxiety or whatever issue you're dealing with. Some of you, this is an anxiety pertaining to your children, and children who are off to college or will be going to college or should be going to college but aren't. But I see the children or the child moved away from you or is facing away from you. To me, it's signifying that the child's energy is directed at other place than you. Okay, this is not anything bad. It's just that's how I see things to help me decipher and put it into words. So for some of you, mothers and fathers, you'll have an anxiety about your children, and perhaps you're worried about their future because they're not in their head, or they're in their head and it's not in a great place. And you're worried about their decisions or non-decisions or lack of decisions. And I specifically hear the word college, some university, but college first and foremost. Something state college, or something state. And that probably pertains to many schools, but the word state, and I believe there's a U in it, in the name preceding the word state. And I don't think it's State University, though it could be. I'm just going to leave it, but I think I feel if this is meant for you, you will understand. Okay, so I want to see if there's anything else he wants to add about this for Virgo. I hear the words, be patient with your son. And this is now specifically pertaining to a male. Female as well, if you have a son, but I'm shown more male. And I feel that there is a bit of frustration or perhaps head-butting between the two of you, and I hear the word misunderstandings. And I feel like you're trying to communicate one thing, your son is trying to communicate another thing, and there is a sense of frustration for both of you between the two of you. I'm also being told to say, leave it alone for now, let him be. So this could pertain to your daughters, but I am being drawn more towards a son situation. So if it makes sense for you, but you have a daughter, by all means, listen to your intuition, because these messages are meant to not only speak to you with the exact words, but speak to you and spark an intuitive prompting to make you go, oh, I feel this is what she's talking about. So please listen to that. Also see the number 9. I see a lot of number 9s lately. And 9 is all about being in the midst or embarking on an end of an era, end of a journey in one's life. So perhaps your son or daughter just graduated college and is looking at the next step, or they've graduated high school and they're looking to go into college, and there is some reluctance there. It's almost like maybe you want them to go to college or university and they don't want to, and you're having different discussions and misunderstandings or because of it, or it's some situation from going from one situation and being need for the next step, but the next step is somehow not happening because of the reluctance of the person who's supposed to make the next step, i.e. your child. Whew. I also see for some of you, you're presenting your child with freshly baked goods. It's almost like you're trying to start communication maybe on a better foot by presenting him or her with freshly baked goods or things you make that are his or her favorite in order to bring the two of you closer. Almost like an act of bringing the two of you together. And that's a very interesting piece of information because that's quite specific. And not only am I seeing baked goods, I am seeing muffins in particular, and on top of it, blueberry muffins. So if that isn't specific, I don't know what is, but that's very interesting. Actually, it could be general, right? And he specifically says blueberry muffins. Maybe it's chocolate chip, but no, I heard blueberries. So if you're someone who likes to bake blueberry muffins and your kid loves blueberry muffins, maybe that's a way of, bringing the two of you together and start a piece of, a new conversation on a better footing, okay? I also hear, erase the past, do not bring baggage, as in, well, you remember when you were this and this what you didn't do, that's why I don't trust you. No, leave it. Do not bring, excuse my French, shit from the background, from your past, into now and future. Not productive. And he's very specific with this, particularly because I feel like you will trigger things that will make your child actually go in the other direction, and that's not what you're trying to accomplish, okay? Try to do things to appease him or her, and I don't mean to let them walk all over you. That is not what I mean, but he's saying to me the phrase, you will attract more bees with honey than vinegar, and again I'm being shown baked goods, so I'm gonna let that be left to your interpretation. And he's nodding his head as in that's good enough. And I also heard the name Larry. So for some of you, maybe you're dealing with a boy named Larry. Maybe your daughter has a name that starts with an L, Laura, or there is an L in your child's name, first predominantly and last. So the letter could be anywhere in the name, but I clearly heard Larry, Laura, Laura Lee. Okay? Lee, as in L-E-I-H, L-E-I-G-H, as in Lee, a girl named Lee. Lisha also, or Lesha, which is an interesting name. I don't even know if it exists. I'm sure it does. I want to see if there's anything. Yeah, this is to do with someone who's going to college or who's about to enter college. And I'm also being shown the decision has to be made fairly soon. And I'm going, well, it's August, shouldn't have been made already. And I hear the word precisely. So perhaps someone has been sitting on a decision and you're really trying to push them forward. So I'm going to leave that. He wants me to come back to the chest pains. Okay. And he's showing me medication. Some of you, I feel, may want to consider asking your doctor or medical professional about some medication or supplements for anxiety, anti-anxiety, something anti-stress, something of that nature. And I'm also being pointed to your head. So for some of you, this is stress. So maybe you're under a lot of stress and it's causing you an anxiety, and it's now getting to a point where it is impairing your day-to-day functioning. Okay, I have a supplement that's coming in, and I don't quite know how that fits with what I just said, but it's called 5-HTP. Please, I'm not telling you to take it. I'm merely saying research the heck out of it, because whatever I say, don't believe anything I say until it resonates with you or you research it. It is something that you can find in a health food store, and he says to me mood regulator. So I'm going to have to look it up. When I receive information of that specific, I always find it very intriguing, especially if I am not too familiar with what it is. Now, the other piece of information I'm receiving is some medication called Milazepam, something Zopam, and I hear the word anti-anxiety. So perhaps for some of you, yeah, and I don't even know if that exists, hopefully. For some of you, you're either on it, Lorazepam. I'm going to have to write that down. Lorazepam. Do let me know if you know what the heck I'm talking about, because I have no idea. So I just receive and I pass it on. So maybe some of you are already on it. Maybe some of you will be given a suggestion. So, research till the cows come home and see if it makes sense. But I do feel for some of you, there will be a need to go on some kind of regulatory, mood regulating medication or supplementation. Okay? And this is not a diagnosis. This is just FYI, and I know that you already have thought about this, or it'll give you an idea that, okay, well, maybe I should really do it. But you've been dealing with this for a while. And I hear 4, so you've been dealing this with 4 months or 4 years, not 4 weeks. Something specific about 4 months with this. Or maybe you've been on a medication for 4 months and it's not really working, and the dose needs to be changed, okay? Okay, he's also saying to me that it's what I'm seeing is that it's possible that this medication you're on is causing you chest pains. So you may want to look into that, because I feel like it may be crisscrossing with what's happening here and the medication you're taking. So maybe it's an after effect, or it's a side effect of your medication. I'm hearing very clearly Lorazepam. Lorazepam. Jesus. Okay. Do let me know, but I will research as soon as I'm done. Okay, let's start with the card. Let's start with the cards. The first card represents your past or your background, and also your mind. And the card is, look at this, number 4. Very interesting. So this is to do with your physical being, money, possessions. It's earth energy. 4 is a number of foundations, but it is beginnings of foundation. So this is shown to me in your background or your past position and also your mind. So I want to ask him if there is a specific word he wants me to start off with when I look at this card. This is very interesting. He says to me the words learning from past mistakes, which is not what I would associate this card with, but you know I'm not a card reader as per what the actual meanings are of the cards. And he says the words to do with your children. So I also hear your relationship has been in the past on a shaky ground with your son, your daughter, or your children. This is specifically to do with the college piece or university. And remember when I said, please don't talk to your children saying, remember when you did this and this and this long time ago, that's why I don't trust you. I feel like this is what this is connecting to. I hear the words trust your children and trust their decision-making process, even though it may not fully follow your belief system or your guidance. It is their path that they will eventually learn from. So sometimes we have to deviate from our path to be hit over the head with and go, oh God, I got it, in order to get back on track. And sometimes that's what needs to happen, okay? And I really feel it has to do with the college piece or the next phase of their adult life. The next card represents present or the problem. And we have the card called financial movement and changes. This is another, so we've got 4 and 5. So 4, this is first, this is second. This is to do with, well, financial material changes. But the card was shown to me in reverse. So this is an earth sign or an earth element. It is to do with pentacles in the traditional tarot deck. Typically, this card in upright position signifies, significant changes that are often uncomfortable, but not necessarily bad, just uncomfortable. But because it's shown to me in reversed, and because it is showing to me as the present or a problem, I actually hear the word status quo. So again, I feel it has to do with your children. If there is a frustration because of their lack of commitment to something and you're wanting things to change, I feel like it is you're frustrated because it is there's status quo. Nothing is moving. And I feel like you want things to move like a river would naturally move. Because there is lack of movement according to you, there is a sense of frustration. But again, he says to me, let them be. And as a parent, it's hard sometimes, often, always, to stand back when we see that our child is about to make a mistake and they're going to fall on their ass, excuse my French, and they're going to hurt themselves. But being asked to step back and let them go through the process. But I also understand that if I force my will on them, it is not going to allow them to learn a very important lesson. And it also may possibly alienate the relationship. Now, this does not pertain to a situation where you know they're going to really hurt themselves badly. Obviously, you step in and you got to be forceful if that's necessary, but that's not what I'm talking about. Okay, this is not a life or death situation or a situation where it pertains to serious health problem. That's not what I'm saying. This is life decisions and choices that will impact them down the road, because in the scheme of things they represent growth. But you see where this is going, but they can't, because they haven't grown into that part of themselves yet to fully grasp the importance or have the appreciation of what's being presented by you. Okay? Now, the next card represents your future or your advice. And the card is suffering in silence. Number 9, which is what came up earlier. This is your thoughts. This is your thinking. This is representing what your advice is. So I'm going to go with the advice. It does represent what's going to happen, but also advice. I'm not going to say sit there and suffer in silence, but what I am going to say is that you'll have to mind your own business. And that's actually how it was said to me. Not because it's none of your business, but because you minding your business in long term and in a scheme of things will actually prove to be more beneficial to you and your child or whoever we're talking about. This seems to be very connected to children. So I also hear bite your tongue and allow them, him or her, to walk their own path, experience their own journey with their own bruises and scrapes. Because the bruises and scrapes will heal, but they will remember the lesson. Hopefully. At least that's the plan. He says to me, and I've heard this many times, and I'm sure you have too, for the most part, we learn through difficulties and adversities. It is rare that we learn major lesson because it's easy, fun, joyous. We do, no question about it. But for the most part, the most important moments that shape us are challenges. And challenges doesn't necessarily mean they're bad or negative, because they can be filled with love and joy, but there is a challenge around it that tugs on different perspectives and forces us to look at things differently. So those are the scrapes and bruises. I don't feel this represents a person who will fall flat on their face. And if it does, I see the person, this is your child, getting up and going, oh God, I should have known. But there's no words of advice that you can give, looks like, because apparently whoever I'm talking about is stubborn, that will make them understand this until the act of falling happens on their own volition or their own body. And again, I hear the words be patient. So, and step back. So I'm going to leave it at this. It's a very interesting reading. It is a general reading, so it may not apply to you at all. Some parts may apply to you. Some parts may not apply to you, or all of it will be like, oh my God, this is for me. In which case, I'm very glad, because that is always my aim. Let me know if you do like this new setup. I kind of like it, to be honest with you. So I think I'll stick with it for a while. There seems to be a flow with this for me personally, and that's how I do private sessions anyways. I don't really use cards. I wish you a wonderful month of August. Be patient with yourself and your children if that is your case, or significant others for that matter, if that represents their next phase of their life, but it involves you. And also don't be hard on yourself is what I'm hearing, okay? Something about proving yourself to yourself. It's you don't need to prove anything to anyone. Just be kind to yourself. Some of you have emailed me asking, how does this relate to my life? It's absolutely impossible for me to know that unless I have a one-on-one session with you. So if that's what you would like, by all means, contact me with the information below. I would be delighted to have a session with you. And of course, thank you so much for watching, sharing, and subscribing. I truly, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate this. I wish you a wonderful month of August. Enjoy the summer. And until September, good luck, be patient, and take care.